Welcome to Plain Talk on WIMC Radio. The views and opinions expressed on Plain Talk are of the host, its guests, and callers. They do not necessarily reflect the views of the IMC Club or IMC Club International.
Brussels National Departure Quebec 0954. Runway 25 right for departure.
Here for phase 2 of our flight plan for this morning. And I'm Max Gross, a.k.a. Howie Marlin, your host for Plain Talk here on IMC Club Radio with co-host and fearless leader Radek Vizikowski. So, Radek, we're back.
Yes, we are.
And we're going to pick up on what you were talking about getting lost.
Yes, so, I
which is, by the way, where you've been most of the time I've known you.
Yes, yeah, I just found myself. So, one of those days I come to an airport and I figure out, I'm going to take airplane for some flying just to have fun. I always enjoyed flying. It was never for me a transportation going from A to B. I always just wanted to be in the air. So I figure out, okay, I have my section all with me, but I will take off. That was from Great Barrington Airport, Massachusetts. I will just fly to the north. I will pick up Mass Pike.
Yeah.
I will turn left. I will follow the road, and until I see Albany, so I'm not going to get too close to Albany Airport.
That's flying IFR, isn't it? I follow roads?
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. Okay. Then I will turn left, and then I will turn left once more, and then I will, keep highway to the left in the distance, and I will come back straight to the airport. So what I did,
works for me.
I did exactly what my plan was, and I'm climbing up, picking up Mass Pike, see Albany, turn around, go back, and suddenly everything looks different. I do not recognize anything. So I go over one of the mountains, and airport's supposed to be on the other side, and it's not there. Somebody took it.
How much fuel did you have? Did you give a glance at that point?
See, that's the thing. I always flew with as much fuel as I could. That was always my thing. So the first thing, I really got nervous. I mean, the first is, oh shit, what's happening here?
Yeah.
But then, after that, everything else kicked in. And I said, okay, let's analyze the situation. That is what you did. You are here, right? So you have enough fuel. What can you do? And then I looked at my panel, and there was this beautiful instrument called ADF.
Yes.
And Great Barrington had a beacon right on the field. So I said, okay, I'm going to tune in, listen for the code. It's there. See where the needle is pointing. And I'm going there. And guess what? I found the airport. But my point is...
Wait, you have to tell some of our listeners what an ADF is.
I know.
All right.
No,
yep.
I'm sure most of our listeners,
God, I hope so.
They do know, with few exceptions, and if they don't, they can do their own research. But my point here is that, dealing with stress of that sort, it's good because that gives you, that type of thinking, you analyze situation and you come up with solutions. Versus if everything is given to you, you just don't need to think about it. Another example I'm going to give you, when I was teaching primary students from East Coast, from Norwood, one of the exercises was going to 7 Bravo 2, Northampton, Massachusetts, on a cross-country flight without sectionals. Without flight planning, without wind corrections, without any calculations. Of course, we knew that we have more than enough fuel to do anything. And of course, when I say without, I didn't mean to leave them on the ground. It's just not looking at them. And then I would say, okay, so let's take a look at the map first. What is our first point? You go over Worcester first. Then from Worcester, you go over the lake. And on the other side of the lake, you should see that other airport. And that's how you drive. That's how you hike. And that's how you can fly. But also, it's just seeing that big picture, being able to analyze, and we call it, or another call, decision making, ADM, right?
Yeah.
But nobody is really teaching it. I mean, they teach what it is, but they don't teach actually using it, doing it. And my concern is, going back to technology, that all the technology is systematically destroying those brain cells.
Well, it's underutilizing what we are basically there to do, to enjoy flying, to use our skills. You know, seat of the pants flying, flying the way that when you go up to have fun and enjoying it, not relying on technology, not relying on systems. You know, I guess what's happened over time is we've grown so accustomed to technology in our life that we now include it in all these aspects of our lives. I mean, what's the term? It's escaping me. When pilots would just fly by seat of the pants without any technology, with the way they used to do it. But in losing those skills, when things get rough, you're at a disadvantage. A horrible disadvantage. So for people like what we talked about before with Sullenberger's skills and with what you were talking about with, you know, what happened to you as you got discombobulated, the idea of keeping yourself capable of being able to rely on flying what you see on the ground.
See, I always compare flying to things like skiing, to things like mountain climbing. And I think we not only lie to ourselves systematically, and that's one problem, that's a topic for another show here, because, and also we lie to everybody else. We always say, oh, flying is safe. It's safer than driving. It's safer than this. BS, it's not. Flying, it's not safe, and it's not supposed to be safe. And I'm talking about general aviation, of course, not commercial flying.
Sure.
It's because if somebody would tell me, okay, I'm going to go mountain climbing, and mountain climbing, it's safe, then do I really want to do it? I mean, what's the point? I mean, and better yet, we have developed this new equipment called elevator. So now we are going to be mountain climb on an elevator. So we're going to you just sit there. You're perfectly safe. We're going to take you on the top of the mountain. So where's the fun? So it's not supposed to be safe, but it's supposed to allow us to work on our skills to manage all those risks.
Right. And managing them meaning to incorporate all of the resources you have at your fingertips. And I was referring to dead reckoning before, where
Yes.
you know, you would pick points and you would, you know, pick your angle and and navigate your way across based on what you see and what you've got and where you are. And if we lose touch with those senses, then we're putting ourselves at a horrible disadvantage.
And even one above this, I think you want to talk about pilotage.
Right.
Because pilotage is pretty much looking out the window.
Literally, that is what I meant, and thank you for that. You know, we forget about all these fundamentals, and the seat of the pants flying. You know, do you recall what the term seat of the pants came from?
I don't at the moment. I knew it at some point.
I'm sure this will refresh everybody's memory. Prior to World War II, during World War I, when there was no slip indicators, pilots would feel their hips moving out or moving in based on whether they were slipping or sliding. And that was the reference. So the seat of the pants was where the pressure is, on your bottom, on your hip, to the left or to the right. And son of a gun, if that isn't literally exactly what we all do get. For those of us that fool around a little bit. I know you IMC guys, when you get in that straight and level and your hours and hours of just going in one direction at one speed don't feel much. Maybe a tingle, I don't know. But anyway, for people like me that go nowhere often and slowly, yeah, we feel a lot of that. But yeah, that's the origins of that.
So somebody probably would with safety and everything that comes with it. But my argument, on the other hand, would be it's just like with this mountain climbing. Do we really want to mountain climb in safe elevators, or we want to do it ourselves? Are we destroying the whole pleasure of general aviation by all the technology that comes along? Should we allow the technology to stay with transportation aircraft? What do you think?
Well, that's, and I'm sure people, our audience are either nodding furiously or yes or no. And this is such an individual call. To have the technology when you need it has got to be an asset. It's just tremendous. To not rely on it and to be able to use your skills for the most part is what I think we all aspire to do. That was an interesting analogy. Do we all want to climb the mountain on the newest elevator? It depends. The answer is depends. Do you need to get there routinely with the safest way, with the least complications, with the most odds of minimizing curious issues to get your attention? I would want the newest elevator out there, the largest, most comfortable one. If, on the other hand, I want to enjoy the view, if I want to feel the sensations, if I want to work at overcoming my own limitations, then I'd like one of the old-fashioned ones, please, with the gate that you close and you crank the floors by hand.
But now that comes to definition of the general aviation. Is this still what we have general aviation, or it is a general aviation transportation? Is it GATT or GA?
Great question. It depends. That's really a great question. Here I am in GA. I don't have a 340. I want one. I want to be able to utilize that technology. I want to advance my skills, but do I need it? No. I've got an iPhone.
But you do want. You want to have it. So that's the thing. Now, when we go to any general aviation airport,
yep,
are we going to see now just general aviation transportation aircraft there and very few GA aircraft? When I go to Norwood, let's say, let's take something close to home, Norwood, Massachusetts, I go on a ramp, and to be honest with you, I may see one or two GA aircraft there. The rest of it is going to be something just for transportation, with glass cockpits, with, all the modern pieces of whatever you want to call it there.
Yeah. Well, but what's your question?
Is this a good direction? That's my question.
Well, I'm afraid we're going to have to leave that answer up for another time. There's no two ways about it. Technology is catching up to us faster than we can adapt. You would think that in commercial, they would want the latest and greatest, the best possible, for all the right reasons, so that they would not have to rely on dead reckoning or pilotage very often. But for the true GA people, maybe that is something that they would want to hold on to as long as possible. Anyway, with that being said, you got any parting shots in the last 20 seconds?
We'll let you do it.
Well, with that being said, on behalf of my fearless leader, Radek Vizikowski, this is Max Gross with the IMC Club Radio Plain Talk Boys, wishing you all a very happy New Year, and we are certainly hoping that your days ahead are happy ones.
They do not necessarily reflect the views of the IMC Club or IMC Club International.